Hey y'all, so in this video we are going to look at the slider tool in a lot more detail. So I'm going to hide my axes and my grid because I'm not really worried about those right now. And I'm just going to put 2 points here. They're not necessarily horizontal from each other, but I don't need that in order to demonstrate what we're going to look at. So how the slider tool works is you just click anywhere in your graphics view and you select whether you want a real numbered value, so that's going to include any decimals, an angle, or an integer. So those are whole numbers. And for this first one, we want an integer. And I'm going to do 3 to 30 and increment of 1. So that means it's going to take on any value between 3 and 30 in whole numbered values. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I incremented by 2, it would do like 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. So that's what we want, and its name is going to be n. And so right now, when I move this slider, it doesn't do anything. All it does is hold some number value. But when we combine that with a tool, magical things happen. So I'm going to grab my regular polygon tool. And remember, the regular polygon tool takes 2 points and builds a regular polygon on the side defined by those 2 points. So I'm going to click on A, then B. And rather than choosing a specific number of vertices, I'm going to type n. So the number of vertices of my polygon is going to match whatever's on my slider. So since it's on 3, it made a triangle. And when I grab my arrow tool and move my slider, I have an n-sided polygon. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 30, which I have to zoom way out in order to see. So that's cool. That's really nice if I want to just play around with different symmetries. We'll build an n-fold rosette here in a couple videos. But yeah, so that's one fun way to use the slider. Another one is a rotation. And I don't like the names of these points, so I'm going to rename this C and D. So I just right-clicked in order to do that. And notice these 2 points that were C and D down here got renamed to C2 and D2. So all these letters have already been taken, which is why those had subscript values. So the next thing I'm going to create a slider for is an angle. And 360 degrees is fine. Incremented by 1 degree is fine for what we're going to do. And this angle's name is alpha. And it's going to default to 45 degrees. So I like all these options. So right now, this is just holds some number between 0 and 360 that represents an angle. And what I want to do is I want to rotate point D by this angle about point C. So I'm going to go to my input bar this time, and I'm going to type rotate, open parentheses, D, so the thing I want to rotate, the amount I want to rotate about. So I'm going to click or type, I'm going to hold down Alt, and then I'm going to press A. So that's the keyboard shortcut for alpha. If you don't like keyboard shortcuts, you can always get there. Let's see. I'm not so, oh, here it is. Yeah, so there's alpha right here in the ABC. But So you can always get there by going to the keyboard too. So alpha, and then I want about point C. And I'm going to close my parentheses, and I'm going to hit enter. And so what that did is it created this point D prime that goes from 0 to 360 degrees, rotated about point C. And if I make like 2 rays to connect those points, I have radial lines at any angle I could possibly want. Now, I typically won't use degrees because I can't get angles like 7-fold divisions or 11-fold divisions or 13-fold divisions with a nice decimal degree value, but I can get those if I do fractions of 2 pi radians, but we'll get into that in a later video a little bit more. But for now, degrees are great. And yeah, I use degrees too. So anyway, that's your slider tool. For geometric design, I don't really use the real numbered one too much, just because I don't have a need to typically. But it works pretty much like the integer one, but it takes on decimal values. So you can increment in tenths or hundredths or whatever incremental value you would like. So yeah, that's the slider tool.